Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the show, and I'm here to talk about the 40 most important players in college football in 2025. So, I want to go over the most important players, at least to me. Now, some of these new starters will shine. 3 of the past 7 Heisman winners have been first-year starters. So after all, but some will inevitably fall flat, or at least start slowly. Some have, given us a taste of potential in small samples. They will be taking their first meaningful snaps since high school. Or some guys, trying to prove themselves. Transferring from other schools, we'll just have to see. So, number 1, I'm going to say Arch Manning's going to be. These are no starting quarterbacks for likely contenders, because Texas is going to probably most likely be a contender. I usually count down to number 1 in this place in an attempt to build some sort of suspense, but there's no point in making you wait through like 39 other names first when you know who's going to be the number one. He's the top quarterback prospect in 2023 recruiting class. He attempted 108 dropbacks while backing up or filling in for Quinn Ewers past 2 seasons. He enters one of the favorites, probably even for the Heisman, in his first year starting. For 2 years, we've looked at 2025 as the year Arch Manning's going to take over. And now we get to find out whether he's up for the challenge. If he is, then Texas could remain atop the rankings all season. And 2 straight college football playoff semifinal defeats. Make it a couple wins further. But if he's merely very good, the Longhorns' rebuilt offensive and defensive lines and unproven receiving corps could become major obstacles. But I think Arch Manning will be fine. Number 2, I'll say Gunnar Stockton. That was a small town Georgia product, and former blue chipper found himself in an impossible situation. Making your first career start in the playoffs against Notre Dame. He made some fabulous throws, suffered a devastating sack and strip fumble, and couldn't quite get the job done. But now he's got an entire offseason to prepare for start number 2 and beyond. Georgia has the highest floor in the sport. Their ceiling will be defined by him and their receiving corps. That didn't do nearly enough last season, and the quarterbacks weren't great. But I can't really put that on Gunnar Stockton. Dude made his first fucking start in the playoffs. Ty Simpson. So that Bama defense gave up only 14.3 points per game in its final 7 games, but the Ty went 4-3 in that span because their offense disappeared. Reappeared, then vanished, disappeared, reappeared, and then vanished for good. With Ryan Grubb rejoining Caleb DeBoer as offensive coordinator, you have Ryan Williams return. This is a great opportunity for the new quarterback. And Ty Simpson, who many people don't know, a long-time backup, sees this opportunity. Some early road trips to Florida State and Georgia. Florida State is going to be an easy win. Georgia's going to be tough, but we'll see. C.J. Carr. Notre Dame made the national title game last season despite an offense focused mainly on short passes and a lot of third down QB keepers. Riley Leonard was really good at those things, but Carr's a top 40 prospect in 2024, brings quite the old school pro style skill set to the table. Can he boost the Irish's upside enough to maybe actually win the title game? We'll see. Dante Moore, Oregon. He took on too much too soon as a true freshman at UCLA in 2023. But after years, Dylan Gabriel's understudy, he'll try to guide a massively overhauled Oregon offense well enough to keep the Oregon Ducks in the hunt for a second Big Ten title in 2 tries. I'm not sure about his upside, but a good run game and good decision making will take that a long way down the road. Julian Sayin, Ohio State. He's another important one. He's completed 5 career passes, all in fourth quarter garbage time, and now he'll likely take the reins for the defending national champions. 5-star, and a team that's ranked worse than 7th in offensive SP plus just once in 8 years. There's massive pressure when it comes to that. At some point, Sayin will have to make some big third down passes, but he'll be thrown to the best receiver duo in the sport, Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. That will help. So we'll just have to see with Julian Sayin making the start most likely against Texas. So there's some quarterbacks with a potential game-changing leap in them. Drew Allard, I think he has the potential. It's also a very good place. He's in here for the second straight season. In his first season with offensive coordinator Andy Kotelnicki. He took a clear step forward from 2,000 passing yards to 3,000. More importantly, jumped his QBR up. But that interception against Notre Dame really hurt him. But he's clearly good. He just needs to improve a little bit more. Because, I mean, they still got those running backs. I mean, and they're probably still going to have a good defense as well. It's just, he's got to play better in these big games. Like these playoff games, ranked games. He's got to play better in those. Cade Klubnik is another one. LSU, you know, big test in week 1. But, you know, his level of he hasn't exactly thrived against that level of competition, like against top 10 opponents in his career, but Texas last year, 336 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 81 total QBR. His hype's increased. And Clemson could be a contender maybe. If Cade Klubnik plays really damn good, I think they could be a contender. If he doesn't, then they might be a mediocre team. Garrett Nussmeier, that's going to be a great quarterback matchup. You know, let's see if he can take that Jayden Daniels or Joe Burrow-esque leap. Number 10, Carson Beck. He also had a confusing run of poor play last season, 12 interceptions and 13 sacks in a 6-game span. That damaged or at least confused perceptions on him. His final act will determine his legacy to a degree. Can he, with help from a theoretically improved defense, take Miami to its first college playoffs? We'll see. You know, a few years, Carson Beck was, feel like through his first few years, been good. Last year's just poor play. Some young inexperienced new quarterbacks with both spoiler and contender potential. I'd say Lenore Sailors, John Mateer, DJ Lagway, Marcel Reed, and Austin Simmons. Austin Simmons going to be Ole Miss's new quarterback. It's a jarring and repetitive theme, but if insert quarterback here is awesome, or insert mid-level contender becomes a serious contender for college football playoff bid. Granted, the pass for Florida and especially Oklahoma are trickier, and Lagway needs to be healthy before he can really threaten to upend this season, but any of these 5 QBs could lead playoff runs. Meanwhile, these 5 teams played a combined 15 games against projected top 10 teams per SP Plus and 35 games against top 25 teams. If they don't end up in the college football playoff hunt, they have huge roles in determining who does. Like, the national average for air yards per pass was 8.6. Reed was 9.3. Mateer 9.7. Lagway 10.6. And Simmons 11.3. So they can throw the ball down the field. Like, and these guys, you know, the national average for scramble rate, scrambles per drop back, was 6.6. Lagway, Mateer, Sailors, and Reed are all damn good at doing that. And yards per completion. So some potential stars in need of a breakthrough: Antonio Williams, Bryant Wesco Jr. and T.J. Moore, receivers for Clemson. It's really hard to nibble your way to the national championship, and Klubnik's receivers need to come up big if the Tigers are going to deliver on what probably will be a very lofty preseason ranking. So they need to, you know, do more. Wesco, what did impress last year, you know, he had 300-yard games and averaged 17 yards per catch as a freshman. And Moore ended his freshman season by torching Texas for 116 yards, and Williams has almost 2,000 career receiving yards. So they need their receivers, I would say, to step up. Penn State, Dennis Sutton, by most definitions, he's probably started. Made 15 tackles for loss, 8.5 sacks, and 13 run stops last season. Few didn't do much better, but you also had Abdul Carter. And now that he's gone, can Dennis Sutton, you know, be the star of that defensive line? Harold Perkins Jr. for LSU. And he break through and lead the first genuinely awesome LSU defense since 2019. You know, he had a lot of hype coming in. Freshman season, 50 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 8 run stops, 2 forced fumbles, 2 pass breakups, in basically half of the season. He was good as a sophomore, but then he tore his ACL 4 games in 2024, so now comes a golden opportunity. Back at full strength, see what he can do. So some more important non-QB transfers. Mekhi Hughes, running back from Tulane. He was about the most proven and known quantity in the transfer portal, over 28 games at Tulane. Touched the ball 553 times, 523 rushes, 30 catches a game, 3,000 yards with 24 touchdowns. Fantastic yards after contact guy, showing he can get both grind out yards between the tackles and hit the afterburners when he gets space. So it's going to be a good addition. Zachariah Branch for Georgia, 823 total receiving yards at 10.6 per catch in 2 seasons. So we'll see if he can be that chunk guy for them. Dylan Thieneman for Oregon. Their secondary lost 8 players. So he was a third-team All-American as a freshman in 2023. He's a steady playmaker. He was on that Purdue team, I think, last year. So some old veterans. Diego Pavia, Vanderbilt. He's sued to return for 1 final year of eligibility and 1. So let's see what Diego Pavia can do. You know, beat Alabama and lead them to their first bowl win in 11 years. Or who won that bowl game? I don't know. I don't know. Haynes King, Georgia Tech. And some pure transcendent potential. Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs. I mean, Jeremiah Smith's he's a fucking dog. So's Caleb Downs. Peter Woods and T.J. Parker, T.J. Parker on Clemson, that perfect defensive line duo. Ryan Williams, he had a pretty good freshman season. But he needs to. His production trailed off after the first 5 games. But we'll see what they do now that they have Grubb back with Caleb DeBoer. Notre Dame, I'd say Leonard Moore and or Christian Gray on their defense. I'd say the most important players in the ACC title race. Kevin Jennings. Last season was supposed to be Preston Stone's moment, but Jennings, he won the quarterback job early in 2024, proceeded to win 9 straight starts, led them to the ACC championship game in the college football playoffs with mistakes, 2 early turnovers, against Clemson, 3 picks, including 2 pick sixes against Penn State, ended the season. If Jennings needs to rebound, maybe they can contend for a playoff spot again this year. Reuben Bain Jr. from Miami. After an incredible freshman debut in 2023, he was hurt just 3 snaps in 2024. Sat more than 1 month and flashed a true 5th gear only a few times while the Miami defense crumbled down the stretch. But it's the same with Harold Perkins Jr. The potential's there. Just needs to stay healthy. Miller Moss going to Louisville. Has a really good running back duo. Jeff Brom has a pretty good history with quarterbacks. And one of the nation's best running back duos, plus an explosive receiver in Chris Bale. Can help him this year. Darian Mensah at Duke. Played at Tulane in 2024. Most important players Big 12 title race. Avery Johnson, the quarterback for Kansas State. Sam Leavitt, Arizona State. Had a really good year last year. But we'll see if they can lead an exciting offense to the playoffs for a second straight year. Sawyer Robertson at Baylor. And any returns last year's top 2 receivers, Josh Cameron and Ashton Hawkins. Josh Hoover at TCU had 3,949 yards last year and a 66 completion rate. And let's get some group of 5 players. Maddox Madsen, Boise State. Like Sam Leavitt, Madsen's no longer going to have training wheels with him this year with the amazing Ashton Jeanty. So we'll just have to see how he does, but see if he can make those second-year starter improvements. Jake Retzloff to Tulane, transferred there from BYU. As BYU surged up the Big 12 standings last season, threw for nearly 3,000 yards and 20 TDs. Jaden Virgin Morgan at Boise State. So they must account for the loss of their star pass rusher, Ahmed Hassan. So we'll see if he can do it. And then Alex Orji or Anthony Colandrea. Alex Orji is obviously failed audition at Michigan. So we'll see if they can thrive. If they can maybe threaten Boise State, but we'll just have to see. But the new head coach, Dan Mullen, has a fantastic resume, so we'll see. But yeah, those are my 40 most important players. So yeah, that's really got to say here. Leave a like, subscribe for more. Till next time, out. Peace.